Hello and welcome back to the first episode of Rattle Up in this month of June. It is June 2nd and I am your host Chris and welcome back. So it was a jam-packed week of Diamondbacks baseball and I can't say it was a relatively good one. We have had some tough series and the Diamondbacks are just not doing too hot. They're all over the place just in general. So let's hope they can bounce back in the upcoming weeks. But just for some injury news, actually, first I'm going to jump into a recap for the week and how everyone has, how the team played. So this entire week pretty much was in the month of May, so I'll just start with last Sunday's games. Last Sunday was our last win, except for last night. So we won 6-2 versus the Giants, and that was the game that Luke Weaver pitched. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 1 earned run. You'd of course like to see your starter go a little bit longer than 5 innings, but he only gave up 1 earned run, so you can't really complain there. And then TJ McFarland came in for an inning and 2/3. He gave up 1 earned run, and he pitched well. Those were the only 2 runs we ended up giving up that game. Hirano, Lopez, Andres, and Greg Holland all threw shutout parts of innings. So San Francisco did not pitch as well. Their starting pitcher gave up 4 earned runs and 6 total runs in 5 innings. So he really struggled against our offense. We tied our record for most home runs in a 3-game series ever in our franchise history since 1998. So that's a pretty good feat to get to, and a lot of our runs came from the early parts of the lineup. Gerard Dyson, Ketel Marte, Eduardo Escobar, and Adam Jones each had 1 RBI. And then Carson Kelly also had Luke Weaver had an RBI, and I think the other run is not accounted for on the box score. But so a good offensive game, not as good as the other 2, as we only put up 6 runs opposed to 10, or I think we put up 18 2 nights before. But the San Francisco's batting was shut down. Panic was the only one to get 5 at-bats. No, 2 people got 5 at-bats, but he got 2 hits, an RBI and a run, and Buster Posey also had an RBI. So moving on to our next series was not a good series. It was a 4-game series in Colorado at Coors, playing against the Rockies. We got walked off 3 times in this 4-game series. Really rough games. Our pitching did well, all 4. But, so this game went 11 innings. Our starting pitcher was Zach Greinke, who pitched 6 innings with only giving up 1 earned run, which is definitely nothing to sneeze at. And then Hirano came in 2/3 innings, did awful, giving up 2 runs in 2/3 innings. And Matt Andres gets the loss with a 1 run and in his inning pitched. Our bats were not alive this game. We had RBIs from Ketel Marte, Eduardo Escobar, and Nick Ahmed. So only 3 runs, definitely not good, but Colorado put up 4 runs and they beat us. Not a good start to the series. This game, the next day, the 28th, was easily the worst game of the series. It was 6-2. The Rockies just not destroyed, but they beat us by a bit. And this game was started by Merrill Kelly, who pitched 6 2/3 innings and had an average start, nothing great, nothing terrible. 4 earned runs, 7 hits, and 6 2/3. and then Crichton comes in and throws a third of an inning, and Bradley comes in, blows up, and gives up two runs and just an inning. We were basically shut down by their starter Sensatella, 6 innings, 2 runs, and then Diaz and Bettis both come in and do well and shut us out in the rest of the game. Our runs were provided by Eduardo Escobar, who drove in both runs, hitting a home run in the 3rd inning, driving in Marte. So then we move into the second to last game of the series, one of the middle games, on May 29th. This game was 5-4. It was very frustrating seeing how our hitting could not get anything done. But Robbie Ray goes 4 2/3 innings. He doesn't do much at all. That's not enough for a starting pitcher, but he gives up 5 runs, only 4 earned runs in that time, and it's just rough. He needs to start going more innings. If a starter can't go more than 4 2/3 and you have as bad a bullpen as us, then you're going to start running into a lot of problems. And 6 strikeouts in those 4 2/3 innings, but he also had 4 walks. So definitely not great. Crichton threw a third of an inning, not giving up any runs. And then Hirano, Lopez, and Chafin each threw scoreless innings to round up the game. And then Colorado started off with Hoffman giving up 3 runs, and then O gives up 1 run. Estevez, Shaw, and Oberg each are able to go a scoreless inning. And the lack of scoring this series, I don't really understand what it is, considering they are in cores, and it's not like the Diamondbacks or the Rockies really have any good shutdown pitching, which doesn't really add up, considering if I could count it up right now, the Diamondbacks scored they only scored 19 runs this entire series when at AT&T Park they were able to put up, I think, 34 in just the 3-game series. And then on Thursday the 30th, the series finale, it was the Diamondbacks looking to avoid getting swept, and they could not do it. They give up 11 runs, and anytime your offense scores 10 runs, which the Diamondbacks did, you should not lose. You should win by you should be winning by a few runs. And this was more of a classic Coors game, giving up more runs in that time. But this was Taylor Clark's 2nd career start. He got smacked around. You have up 5 runs in only 2 innings, which is awful for your 2nd career start, even if it is in Coors. TJ McFarland came in and threw longer than the actual starting pitcher, throwing 3 runs. So you start to think maybe Clark was an opener, but he gave up 5 runs, so I can definitely see why he got taken out. And then Matt Andriese and Zach Godley surprised us. They both threw scoreless innings. And then Yohan Lopez gives up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning, getting a blown save. Chafin goes 1 1/3 innings. He's been probably our top relief pitcher this year. Him and Lopez easily. This game Lopez didn't do too well. But Andrew Chafin, he's just been our best pitcher. He comes in for our best relief pitcher, comes in for a lot of spots for just a third of an inning to face off a lefty batter. And then Hirano, who I had a lot of hope would be one of our top relief pitchers going into the year, takes the loss. He can't finish off his inning, and he gives up the walk-off hit in the I think it was the bottom of the 9th. Yeah. No, it was in the bottom of the 10th. He gives up this walk-off hit. Our runs came from Eduardo Escobar had 3 RBIs. Adam Jones had 1 RBI. Christian Walker had 2 RBIs. Ahmed Kelly both had an RBI. And somehow Taylor Clark managed to hit his first career home run. So I guess when you think about it, he only gave up 4 runs because he got one of them back with his home run, his first career, which in his only, I think, 3rd or 4th pitching appearance. The Rockies, they sent down their starting pitcher shortly after this game, Kyle Freeland. He was what a lot of people expected would be the Rockies' easy ace, and he would run away with the best pitcher title for the Rockies. But he's really struggled. He got sent down to AAA shortly after. He gave up 5 runs in 3 innings. Both starting pitchers, were out of this game after the 3rd inning. And then Chad Bettis and Diaz both come in and throw 2 scoreless innings. Dunn comes in, gives up 2 runs, and doesn't even get a single out. And then Brian Shaw comes in, gets a blown save in a 3rd of an inning, giving up 3 runs. And McGee, Oberg, and O all go scoreless innings or partial innings. I don't understand really the lack of scoring. Freeland's been struggling. Bettis is not a top relief pitcher. Diaz, Dunn, Shaw, McGee, and O they're all do a lot of struggling, especially in Coors. They definitely should have been able to put up more runs, and their pitching, even if it is in Coors Field, giving up if your offense gets you 10 runs, you should not be blowing this game. You should be getting the win and leaving this series happy with the win and not getting swept. So moving into the Friday game, May 31st, this was the Diamondbacks' 5th straight loss, and we lost 5-4. We back at home again for the home crowd, and it was just it was not a very offensive game. There was a decent amount of runs, but nothing too crazy. The Diamondbacks had John Duplantier in I think this was his first career start. He gives up 3 runs in only 5 innings, which I don't know how many pitches he threw, but I believe he probably could have gone less. I mean, he probably could have gone more, even only giving up 3 runs. Crichton throws a shutout inning. Archie Bradley, who surprised us this game and throws a shutout inning. Greg Holland also threw a shutout inning. He's been one of our top relief pitchers too. And Matt Andriese throws 1 inning, giving up 2 runs, getting the loss, and a blown save with it. So a really tough game, giving up only 5 runs, and our offense could not get anything going. Zach Wheeler started for the Mets, Seth Lugo, and then I think Robert Gelsman. Not 3 top-tier pitchers, so I don't really understand the lack of scoring, especially at your home crowd where you're not as many people trying to distract you. But I mean, only 4 runs against Lugo in 7 innings, and not being able to score the last 2 innings against 2 not amazing pitchers. It's just a tough break, and hopefully after this game they got their offense back. And I thought going into the series, being back home and back in front of the home crowd would maybe get their hopes back up and get the offense back going. It did not in this game. Only 4 runs. Those runs were provided by Ketel Marte with an RBI, Christian Walker with 2 RBIs, Alex Avila with an RBI, and that's about it. Really a lot of zeros for hits on this board, not a lot of base runners. Avila, Ahmed, and Dyson all didn't get a single hit. Christian Walker managed to get 3, and Escobar managed to get 2. But, we take another loss, and then we head into the first game of June, which the Diamondbacks finally get another win, surprising